Hare Krishna Mataji.
Krishna
Mataji very.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna everybody. Om Agyana Timra Andasya Jnananjala Chalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamaya Dadati Swapadatikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopeshu Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Vancha Kalpadarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanan Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimadi Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatada Satarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vatsadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Come on, all of you. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Hare Rama,
Rama. Hare Rama.
Rama,
Rama.
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Krishna
Krishna.
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna.
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama,
Hare Rama. Hare
Hare
Rama.
Rama,
Rama Rama.
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
everybody.
Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
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 Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare
Rama Rama,
Rama, Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody, and thank you so
Hare
much.
Krishna,
Very
Mataji.
nice. Hare Krishna. So, what?
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you for what? I've not yet started. This reminds me of the class when teacher comes to class when I was in school. After one line, we used to clap, telling that okay, that's enough. Mic is over. Please leave. So I hope this thank you is not like that. No, so I've not yet started. You have to listen. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. So now, Hare Krishna. Just wait 1 second. Hare Krishna. So coming back to not back now, which chapter are we in? Better. Thanks. Which chapter are we?
16, Mataji.
16 chapter. So what is the name of this chapter? What is the name of the chapter? Is that a very tough question? It's called Devi Asura. So what is Devata? So I just had this words which I spoke in Krishna book while we were doing the Krishna book reading. So I'm going to ask you the same question. So what is Sura? What do you mean by Sura? I'll tell you the reverse. All of us know the negativity. Asura. What is Asura? We've heard of Asura. Can you hear my voice?
Sura is Daivi Mataji. Asura is the Rakshas.
Very nice. Because when someone asked me what is Sura, initially a couple of years back, I didn't know. But Asura we know. So that's why I said the villain character we all know. So Asura is the demon and Devi is the demigod. Right? So so we are talking about, so basically in one line, Sura are those who are believer of gods. So anyone who follows the Shastras will come under Sura, and anyone who goes against the Shastras will come under the Asura. Just in one line to make it short. So let's check what this has for us, right? So so we are going to see this Devi Asura Sampat Vibhaga Yoga. Okay, please somebody read this. It's a long but very important quality. These are the qualities which are required for us to have for becoming close to Krishna. Now, this we have already done in length, but we're just going to quickly read. Yes, ma, please read. Can someone read?
The Supreme Personality
Krishna
of
Mataji.
Godhead said, fearlessness, purification of one's existence, cultivation of spiritual knowledge, charity, self-control, performance of sacrifice, study of the Vedas, austerity, simplicity, non-violence, truthfulness, freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility, aversion to fault-finding, compassion for all living entities, freedom from covetousness, gentleness, modesty, steady determination, vigor, forgiveness, fortitude, cleanliness, and freedom from envy and from the passion for honor. These transcendental qualities, O son of Bharata, belong to godly men endowed with the divine nature. Bhagavad
Hare
Gita
Krishna.
16.1.3. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for reading. So very Krishna. Okay. So this is very nice, right? So, and some of these qualities are, see, there are various ashramas, right? So at various stages, a lot of things will be required. So for cultivation of spiritual knowledge, right, and purification of one existence, we need what's called charity, and this is required at Grahastha ashram. So before we get into that, can you tell me what are the 4 varnas? If anyone answers fast, we will have time for story. Otherwise, like last time, I will tell Tata bye-bye and go.
Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra.
Very nice. Then that these are varna, and ashram means?
Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha.
Sannyasa.
Sannyasa.
Very nice. Very, very outstanding. For level 1, this is definitely very good. So coming back very quickly, so each of these ashrams will need some qualities. Example, charity is very much required in Grihastha. Obviously, that's at peak. For Brahmachari, you can't call charity because he will be in the process of learning, studying, very dependent, right? Like a student. Studying of Vedas will be very highly required for a Brahmachari, right? He will do at full level. Simplicity, we've discussed, being very simple, being very honest. And the story which we're going to talk will connect to a lot of these qualities. And, non-violence means, giving, not just in terms of physical non-violence, but giving Krishna, right, to the heart. The soul needs Krishna. So that is one thing which is important. And it also not means physical, it's verbal, non-verbal, everything is connected. So one small bumper offer we have is in Satya Yuga, if you're thinking bad of a person, it is very sinful and you will also get karma for that. But in Kali Yuga, if you think good of a person, you get credits. But if you think bad of a person, you don't get minus points. There's no negative mark, right? Very important. Otherwise, imagine so many times our thoughts, because we don't have control in Kali Yuga for the thoughts. So every time you have a negative thought, if there is minus marking, imagine what happens. But the minus marking kicks off the moment it comes in the form of oral or non-verbal communication, either ways. So as of now in Kali Yuga, we do not get negative marks for our thinking. But definitely thinking results in actions later. That's a risky call, but I'm just telling thinking alone. So if you see Krishna, in the first chapter, he says, behold your mind, Arjuna. So he's telling the moment the mind starts thinking, please cut it there, hold it there. So this is a teaching not for Arjuna, for us only. So truthfulness is being honest even to an enemy. I am a very honest person, but to whom? Only to me and to my 4 friends. That's not honesty. Honest to everybody is honesty. Freedom from anger, renunciation, tranquility. Freedom from anger means like, something which, freedom from anger. So what do I say? This is a very bad quality, because this is why I'm telling bad is anger, lust, and greed are called the 3 gates to hell. And would anyone like to go to hell? So thank you, Prabhu. Very nice. You're the only one. So out of 30 who are here, only you and I don't want to go to hell. The balance 28 don't mind, because they're all silent.
Oh, Mataji.
No. Okay. Because there is one proverb in South. It's called Maunam Sambathika Ariguri, which means that if you're silent, it is equal to yes. So I would always take it like that. Hare Krishna. So that is the point. And renunciation, yes, we all know, does not mean you have to give up something. Many people get confused. So it doesn't mean if you're in ISKCON and if you're studying, you will renunciate everything. You will give up your house, you will give up your car. No, give up your job. No, all of us are working. All of us are living in a house. All of us have cars. Most of us are professionals who work. So renunciation means doing everything with the thought of having Krishna in the center. That is renunciation. So that is most important. It is not like giving up everything and running into a forest, because in the 3rd chapter, Arjuna tells, I will want to physically renunciate. Krishna is stopping that. He's telling, no, don't do that. It's not going to work. Even if you renunciate, what will happen? You go there, you will become a Kshatriya, right? You will take your natural weapon, and even with the leaf, you can kill someone. So renunciation is not what we think is to leave everything. Renunciation is to be mentally detached, and not controlling things. Right?
You are an example, Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhu.
You are an example for that. We could see you getting distracted with somebody around you, but still you take classes for us.
So that somebody is, I have a devotee here.
Okay.
So no, it's okay. Let me tell you. Thank you so much. So that's so nice. So I'm getting not only distracted. So I've got 2 devotees here, and both of them are cats. You laugh at it, but whenever I take class and I use the same laptop, I always tell this. I use the.
Oh, okay.
Most of the time I have the same place.
Excellent.
Wherever they are. If I'm doing my office work, they don't sit. They just go. But when I'm taking class, I have no idea what they understand. That they will from wherever scratch jump and come and sit here. So one is gone this side, one is gone this side, and sitting right here and listening. So I always feel that, as you just said, that I'm getting distracted. To be very honest with you, Prabhu, high time we all get distracted, but these two don't get distracted. When I take 4 o'clock, I take Chaitanya Charitamrita class. And, that is when they will listen. And again, when I'm taking Prabhu's, usually that's the only class I do. And I take one advanced level 4 class, level 3 and 4 at 5:30. So these class, and that's only on Tuesday, they will correctly come and sit. And I still don't understand, everybody, sometimes my mom also wants to hear, but she'll forget. She'll tell, Hare, daily is there. Oh, I forgot. I thought it's over and all that. But these two, they don't forget.
Highly evolved souls under your.
So I was also surprised. So there was a story. Did anybody tell you all the story of Jada Bharata?
No, Mataji.
No? Okay. So Bharat Maharaj, I'm sure NND Prabhu would have.
Yes, Mataji.
Of the deer. So when I heard the story about 2 years back, I heard, I was not judging. I was just hearing. It was just like a story. So it's not that I believed, I didn't believe. Sometimes, a very neutral standard, right? And you can't relate to something. Have you seen, like sometimes, it's not that you don't believe, but just that it's not your cup of tea. So it was like not my cup of tea until these two joined and came, and I thought, oh, maybe it is true that after animal life, after human life, you may slip and become an animal and still you're a devotee, is what I started telling. So when I get a chance, I will tell the stories of them also. So this is the thing. Hare Krishna. And thank you so much for bringing in.
Thank you.
All this. So aversion to tranquility, to be very steady, irrespective of the time. Aversion of fault finding. You don't like fault finding. This is a change which you will notice. Generally we'll be finding fault subconsciously. I'm not talking talking consciously, but then once you get into Krishna conscious, you will not tell that the person is great, but you just think like, okay, forget it. Better things in life to do. Compassion to all living things, entities, which also means not just humans, but animals. Freedom from covetousness. Does anyone know what's covetousness? Envy, right? Feeling very envious, and wanting everything. Example of that, I would call Ravana, wanting, everything else. Gentleness, all of you know, modesty, down to earth, steady determination. Classic example is all of us here. I think when I have no idea because I didn't do the first chapter, but I am assuming that when we did the first chapter, we would have at least about 100 devotees, and it keeps coming down. And by the last 6 chapters, it's almost just 40%. Right? So that means the people who are here are having steady determination to be in Bhagavad Gita class from the first class till the 16th class, which means that you all will be the same capacity till the 18th class. That is steady determination. Vigor, obviously, we know, brave, forget Forgiveness. Yes, you will. This is a tendency. I'm going to ask you this question. Forgiveness is the tendency of whom? Kshatriya, Vaishya? Oh, I'm going to rush this. It's 20 minutes on.
Brahmana.
Even I thought that. Yes, it is for Brahmana, no doubt. But forgiveness is also a quality of a Kshatriya, because Kshatriya, when somebody surrenders, he will have to forgive. So that's it. That's one thing. So clean, freedom from envy, passion for honor. Like you don't have many people tell, no, I want success, failure. They are just out of the world on all that. Right? So let's start off. So these we've already discussed earlier, but I just thought I'll brush through. Now we are going to see the Asuric qualities. There we saw 26 Devi qualities earlier also, right? And the number of Asuric qualities we're going to see is 6. But see, we should tick qualities which we can develop and bad qualities which we shouldn't. So we'll do that. Hare Krishna. Dambo darpo bimanascha Roda parushyam evacha Ajnanam chabijatasya Partha sampadam ashurim. Hare Krishna. Yeah, please read.
Arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. These qualities belong to those of demonic nature, O son of
Hare Krishna. So arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. I don't have to explain. And I still remember when this came, I looked and my eyes became red. And this was when Prabhu was telling. He said, why are you staring at the screen? When I was a student, I said, Prabhu, I'm very harsh. Am I a demon? He said, all of us are demons. Very sweet. Minister Prabhu said, all of us are demons. All of us will have one of these qualities, little bit at least. Okay, of course, he doesn't have any of this, but just to console me, I just realized that he just went in the flow. So arrogance, pride, anger, conceit, harshness, and ignorance. 100% if we will have small portion of each or any of these qualities. Very important not to feel bad, but to understand and try and knock this out. Please don't ask me if I've become less harsh. No, I haven't. But I'm just telling you all, whoever can improvise as quickly as possible, please do that. Hare Krishna. Devi Sampad Vimokshaya Nibandaya Shurimata Masucha Sampadam Devam Abhijatosi Pandava. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
the transcendental qualities are conducive to liberation, whereas the demonic qualities make for bondage. Do not worry, O son of Pandu, for you are born with the divine qualities.
Hare Krishna. So the transcendental quantities are very conducive to liberation, right? So we know the 26 qualities are very favorable. But demonic qualities, bondage, obviously. When do you feel angry? When will somebody feel angry? You tell me.
Out of control
Sorry?
situation.
When do you feel?
Out of control situation, when you feel that you cannot control the situation.
Very sweet. Perfect. When you want to control a situation, absolutely. So when you are trying to control, so that means you are trying to behave like the God, right? Ato, I want to control this. So that is anger. And now in this case, it could be situation or it could even be a person. So when you try to control and when you don't succeed, you get angry. Pride is, okay, I am there. I am great.
But Mataji, it would be even when we have a desire and we are not able to fulfill that desire, then I get annoyed.
Very true, Prabhu. What she told also is an extension of what you're saying. Her desire, what she explained, is to control. Your desire could be, okay, I want something and that's not happening. So either case, either it's a person or a thing, which is why I explained. So something you want and that is not happening. The desire could be that I want to control, I want to want something. All that will get you angry. Arrogance is, I want it, at any cost. So that gets. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Just came to say hi to everybody.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
So today is the 16th chapter, no? Deva Asura.
Yes, Prabhu, 16th chapter. Hare Krishna.
Very nice chapter. We find all qualities of Asura. We hardly find any Devata. Hare Krishna. Chaliya, I just came to say everything is going on nicely. Okay, so please visit Mangalore if you get time. Sometimes we are in South India, near Kerala and Karnataka border, on the coastline. And we did have a big Rath Yatra, and Radhika Mataji was there, electrified, ecstatic. And then after that, we will have, in July, we have an event. We have a visit of our senior ISKCON sannyasi, our Guru, His Holiness Jayapataka Maharaj. And then Janmashtami there in September 7th. So try to join sometimes whenever you can. That will be very nice. And Prana, Artha, Dhiya, Vacha, 4 ways we can serve Krishna. Prana, we can give our life. We are making a beautiful brahmachari ashram. You are all welcome. But then you said, no, sir, I have some commitments. Take it then, Artha. We are working, we get some money. So you can help us to complete the beautiful temple. It's a unique temple being constructed by the Gita 18 team. All the people who joined us through Gita 18 course were together constructing the temple. And there are lakhs, around 8 lakh people participating in this whole effort. Okay. So take the privilege to be part of it. We also have Google Pay as a simple way to give a donation. And then I think this all details you're getting in WhatsApp. Third thing is Prana Artha Dhiya. You can use your intelligence to understand Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says in 18th chapter, anybody trying to understand him is worshipping him by his intelligence. Do that. And final thing is what? Vacha, words. Tell people to join this course. Like somebody asked you to join the course, and I hope you're enjoying, otherwise you'll not stay for so many classes. And Vacha, tell people to chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna,
Thank you,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Prabhuji, when is Guru Maharaj visiting there, you said?
It's in the first week. I'm still waiting for. There is a temple opening in ICC Bangalore.
Okay.
So that along with that, he's combining visit to Bangalore. I'm just waiting still for the days. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
He's traveling out.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Great,
Krishna.
great.
Hare
Okay. Thank you.
Great, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So thank you so much. So we'll be back. We will take over. Right? 100 years for Prabhu, no? Just then I spoke about.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Just Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So let's go on. Devi Sampad Vimokshaya Nibandaya Shurai Mata Masucha Sampadam Devam Abhijatosi Bandava. We finished this, sorry. Right? Please go ahead and read this 16.6.
O son of Prita, in
Yes, Sudarshan Prabhu start and next Ayushi Mataji next one. Yeah, please read.
Okay.
Yes,
O
Prabhu.
son of Partha, in this world, there are 2 kinds of created beings. One is called the divine and the other demonic. I have already explained to you at length the divine qualities. Now hear from me of the demonic. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So it is Prita. So Prita is the mother of Arjuna. So that is why he got the name Partha. Partha means son of Prita, right? So Prita is the original name of her. She's called Kunti because her initial name was Prita, but she was given to a king called Kunti Boja, right? Who happened to be her father's cousin. So that is why she started being called Kunti. But otherwise, her name was originally Prita, and that's why it's called son of Prita is Partha, and that's why it's called Partha. So, so we've already discussed demonic, and she's telling that okay, now we in length now hear from me the demonic. So we're going to go into the demonic. Pravritim cha nivritim cha janana vidurashviraha na saucham na pichacharo na satyam teshu vidyate. Hare Krishna.
Those who are demonic do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Neither cleanliness nor proper behavior nor truth is found in them.
This is a major, Hare Krishna, very nice. So these are major confusion of demonic people. They don't know what to do and what not to do. Pravriti means to do, Nivriti means not to do. asatyam apratishtam te jagatahurnanishwaram aparaspara sambhutam kim manyat kama haitukam. Hare Krishna.
They say that this world is unreal, that there is no foundation, and that there is no God in control. It is produced of sex desire and has no cause other than lust.
Okay, Sambodhim. Sambodhim means independent. The only Sambodhim is Krishna. But many of these atheists feel that they're very independent, right? You would have heard this term called self-made man. Have you heard this term?
Yes, Mataji, I am one of them.
Thank you, Rahul. So basically, self-made means somebody can make themselves, right? Logically. But what they say is, I'm completely independent, is what it means. But actually, what is the meaning of self-made? Right? Can anyone be completely independent? Not really. Even the rice, that means you should be born on your own, Swayambhu. You should cultivate your own rice. You should have your own land. You should make your own fertilizer. To that extent, then we can talk. None of us are even close to that, right? So that is a concept of the proud atheists. They say that the world is totally unreal. There is no foundation and there's no cause except lust, which is creating. 16.9. Hare Krishna.
Following such conclusions, the demonic, who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So they're saying that following the conclusion, the demonic who are lost to themselves and who have no intelligence engage in unbeneficial, horrible work meant to destroy the world. So this is what it is. Bomb, bio war, and all that is what. And Ugra Karma. I don't want to kill one animal. It's very difficult. So I have this concept of fat, 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 fat. One machine has come, like at one shot, 50 heads are out. That's called Ugra Karma, right? Doing karma at manifold. And we will get Ugra sickness, which is called COVID. Entire world suffers, right? So this is what is the outcome of these joint demonic behavior. Yeah, please, both you can read together. 16.10 and 11.12.
Mataji, you go ahead.
Yeah, please. Ayushi Mataji.
May I read or Prabhuji will read?
No, alternate. So you please read this.
16.10. I'm going for this, Mataji.
Yes.
The demonic taking shelter of insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige, and being thus illusion, are always drawn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Thank you, Mataji.
Okay, I'll read the next one. They believe that to gratify the series unto the end of life is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, there is no end to their anxiety. Being bound by hundreds and thousands of desires by lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for self-gratification. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the demonic takes shelter of the insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige. Right? So the demons, okay, they're taking shelter of insatiable lust, pride, and false prestige. So that's where they are stuck. And they are completely illusion. And they are they are always into unclean work and they always act impermanently. So it's only temporary, right? So the illicit relationship or gambling, intoxication, these are the demonic believer because they're only focusing on gratifying sex and therefore there is constant anxiety. They are not going to rest in peace, we say, right? So that never happens. And also there are lots of beliefs that, if you try something and if you overdo it, you will get irritated. No, if you keep drinking, people have become drunkards. Have you ever seen somebody who keeps drinking gets frustrated in drinking? No, it never happens. When you keep smoking too much, you become addicted to smoking. That is why you got addiction. Same with people. If you keep thinking, obsessed with the person, you get very addicted to the person. So all of them does not reduce, right? Because there are theories, and I'm not going to quote anyone particularly, but who hardcore keep thinking of that. Right? So that's the story. Yes. Before you read, can I know who in the picture one is? Would you be able to tell me? Okay, picture on the bottom. Do you know who this one is?
The first one is Prahalad, Mataji.
Very nice. Prahlad, and whose lap is Prahlad?
Hiranyakashipu.
Yes, Hiranyakashipu and Prahlad.
Hiranyakashipu.
Okay. Niche Ravan is clear. On the right side. I heard it. Kamsa. That's right. So this is when Kamsa is driving the chariot of his sister Devaki, and we have the Vasudev, father of Krishna, Vasudev, right? So Vasudev is in the same chariot, and Kamsa is about to kill his wife. Why is Kamsa driving? Because that's a greatness of the brother. He's going to drive the chariot, and this is happening. And that is exactly when he picks the axe and tries to kill. So this is what is going to happen. Right? So this is when he stops by telling, I'll give the children, please don't kill your innocent sister. So we are going to understand the three characters who are examples of three extremely bad demonic quality. Please read, we will decide who is what. Please go ahead.
The demonic person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. So much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemy will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices, I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. The demonic persons think, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my scheme. So he's telling that I have so much money, right? I will get according to the scheme. Example is Hiranyakashipu. So, it's okay to earn, but it's not at the cost. So I have an enemy, easy ways to kill him. Example is Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was number one in fighting, right? Karate and Kung Fu. They knew for sure they won't be able to beat him. So what did they do? They thought the easiest is to poison him. The easy way of reaching level 1 is not practice. The easy way of reaching number 1 is to finish the person in number 1. Therefore, but number 2 becomes default 1. That's exactly what's been happening, right? So that concept, if you see, is so evident among one. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect. So Hiranyakashipu is an example of greed. We have him, Ravana, example of lust, right? So much of lust, craving for somebody's wife, and you want to become an enjoyer. Hiranyakashipu is so greedy that he wants to control everything. Moon I want to control, sun I want to control, demigods I want to control. Kamsa, height of material self-interest, right? He wants to live, so he doesn't mind even killing his own family. So these are the qualities, right? So therefore, he shall perform whatever they want. Many people tell they are all devotees. They've all prayed God. If you are a devotee, right, that's a difference between worship and, okay, I'm going to ask you all this. I'm going to take class tomorrow again. So I want you all to think through and come back to me. What is the difference between worship and devotion? I want you to think tonight and tell me the difference between worship and devotion. Yeah, homework for you. Hare Krishna. Let's run to 16.16.
Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, one becomes too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and falls down into hell. Hare Krishna.
Because of the anxiety and network of illusion, right? One automatically is totally attached and boom, he falls down into hell. Right? He's so perplexed by the lot of anxieties, illusions, and too strongly gets attached to sort of enjoying sense and automatically falls into hell because it's a limit to it. Can anyone tell me who's in the picture? And what's the occasion?
Krishna is killing Shishupala, Mataji.
Exactly. So who's Shishupala? No, absolutely right. And where did this happen? But I should appreciate you. By level 1, I didn't know who it was. I knew the story, but I could not recognize it. Huh?
It is in Krishna's palace only?
No.
Rajashurya.
Haribol, right? Rajashurya Yagna of Yudhishthira Maharaj in Indraprastha when he was handed over the kingdom and he took over. So they decided to honor Krishna, and Shishupal was so envious. And Shishupal, who is Shishupal? Shishupal
Region, I think.
No, no.
Yeah, he's a cousin of Krishna. So his mother's sister's son is Shishupal, but he had this, you all know the story of Shishupal. He had Krishna patiently waited for him to swear 100 times, right? Why? Because his mother had taken a promise from Krishna that, you have to give him, you should have tolerance. So his number was 100. So because of the false ego, strength, pride, luster, and anger, the demon becomes envious of Supreme Person. He was so envious of Krishna, who in his own body and his bodies of others and baptizes. So basically, he tries to baptize everything, right? So Shishupal is a classic example of this. Yes, 16.19, Hare Krishna. Sorry.
Attaining repeated, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, are cast by me into the ocean of material existence, into various demonic species of life. Hare Krishna.
So our, not for us, but for those who are envious and mischievous, not in a funny way, but in a very negative way, are sent to the demonic species, right? So they will get downgraded. Hare Krishna.
Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demonic life, such persons can never approach me. Gradually, they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Hare Krishna.
So basically, if we make any mistake, and if we do good, it's not like banking accounts, right? I do 100 good and I do 10 bad, 90 is good and I go to heaven. It doesn't work like that. For the 90 good, we go to heaven, and for the 10 bad, we still go to hell. But the point is, when you have a rebirth and a rebody, what happens in your rebirth and rebody is, obviously, since 90 is good, you get possibly a body of a human or something which is positive. And if it's vice versa, if you have 90 bad and 10 good, obviously for 90 bad, we are misfit to have this body, right? We can't do so many bad. So they will push us down into the animal body, because that's what we deserve. Not as a punishment, but that's what we want. So let's say that somebody, wants, to be with women all the time. This body doesn't, or with men, whatever, spouse. So not spouse, I'm talking about, opposite gender. So this body doesn't support. So naturally, they will give a body of a monkey or something which can actually be the most lustrous animal, or one of the most. So, or let's say that somebody wants to sleep all the time. We can't sleep. We can lie down, but we can't sleep for hours together. So the body of a teddy bear, a bear, is suitable because bear can sleep for hours together. So the body is given as per our desire, right? So let's, this is a very nice one, 16.31. Trividdham narakashedam ra dvaram nashanam atmanah kama krodhas tata lobhas tasmade tatrayam tyadet. Hare Krishna.
There are 3 gates leading to hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, for Narakasam, right? So you automatically go to Narakaloka. And so therefore, what happens is, I just told, lust, greed, and anger are the 3 gates to hell. Why do you want to do that? So if, and most of them accept that they are angry. Not many will accept they are greedy. So greed, jealous and all, they will not accept. Anger, they will still accept. Can you control it? 100%. Because when you know this is a gate to hell, why would you want to take it? So 16.22.
The man who has escaped these 3 gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So very clearly, whoever has escaped the 3 gates of hell, okay, what he does automatically, what does he do? He automatically is conducive and thus he attains the supreme destination. He automatically goes back to Godhead, right? Because if who will escape? So somebody who's like a sadhu, he's not angry, he's not lusty, he's not. So lust here does not mean only opposite gender. Lust here refers to any desire, right? So if I want to, let's say, what should I tell? If I'm very desperate to buy 100 houses or 100 cars, that's also described as lust. So in English, though, lust we refer only, sensually. Here it actually applies to any kind of lust. Hare Krishna. Yakshastra viddhamutsrishtya vartate kamakaratat nasa siddhim avapnoti na sukham na param gatim. Hare Krishna.
But he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Hare Krishna.
He who discards spiritual injunctions and act according to his own whims, right? We have seen a lot of them. So they are not perfect, they are not happy, nor they are going to reach the supreme destination. Why? Because the Shastras tell you how to live. If you don't follow and do on your own, like for example, if I'm going to come here and tell you about what is my opinion personally about Bhagavad Gita, I don't think anybody should or would be here. In fact, should not be here, because who needs opinions? We all have opinions, right? We are here. So if a physics teacher is coming to your class and tells, according to me, the book is falling, okay, the book, I can't see the book, okay, the book is falling down, not because of gravity, because I just feel that I slipped the hand, you'll feel she's a fool, he or she, yeah? So this is the same thing with spiritual education. But if you see, we have all PhDs for spiritual education on our own. Everybody has an opinion about spiritual education or spiritual idea. Have you seen it? According to me, don't want that word itself. I've become allergic, because according to each one of us, we'll have opinion. According to us, we will feel that God has 3 eyes also, 4 eyes also, 10 eyes also. I will feel God has spiked hair. So I will have my own imagination, right? So this according to me should be put to an end. And if anybody asks from where have you got it, I think we should all have Shastric reference. And I'm requesting each of you all to, may not to start with, but just start thinking on these lines, because you will all be preachers. Now you'll be wondering how, Mataji? It may be to one person, at least one line you can preach from here. Something which you like in Bhagavad Gita, you can tell as a story or whatever. So at that time, it's always best to have a reference, because you know what you're talking and the other person knows that what you're talking has backed proofs. Hare Krishna. Tasmak chastram pramanam te karya vyavastito nyatva shastra vidanukam karma ahasi.
One should understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. One should understand what is duty and what is not duty by regulations of scriptures. So, what is duty? What is not? So who's this in the picture? Who are these 2 Mota children and this Guru?
Krishna and Balarama, Sandipani.
Hari Bol. Yes, Sandipani Muni, who's the teacher, Krishna and Balarama, they both did 64 days. They learned 64 arts and met somebody here. Who was that somebody whom they met? Who's one more close friend of Krishna?
Sudama.
Very nice. Sudama, they met here. He also was here. And this is in Ujjain. And all this happened. And why did Krishna need a teacher? Did Krishna not study? Does he need a teacher?
Mataji, according to Gita, we all follow the Guru. I mean, the most learned person, we walk his path. So Krishna is living by his example, saying, since I'm the God, I also have a Guru, so you better follow it.
Superb. Yad yad acharadi sheshas tat tat evetnu Arjuna. Sayat pramanam kurte lokastad anuvartite. So basically, whatever great people do, people follow. One great person they had given an example was Janak Maharaj, and second example was himself, where Krishna says that I want to set an example, because if I don't do something, people will never follow. So as you said, Guru is the important footstep. I mean, the footstep of Guru is the important thing which we should follow. So Krishna himself led by an example, right? So Hare Krishna, thank you so much. So quickly, snapshot is there are, how many divine qualities are there and how many demonic are there?
26 divine qualities.
Yes.
6 demonic qualities.
Very nice. So 6 and this. And therefore, and what happens? These demonic qualities slide down further and further. They do not know what is right and what is wrong. And atheists are so proud because they think that we only made the world, right? Automatically, it's a default which has come and there is no power. And what do demonic people do? They are just stuck with lust, pride and prestige, and they are stuck over there. And we saw that extensively, all 3 examples. We already saw Hiranyakashipu, Ravana and Kamsa, who are examples of gate to hell. And also these things lead someone to hell. We saw Shishupal, who was envious of Krishna. So basically, we already read 2 qualities in the 2nd chapter and 1 in the 9th chapter. What are the qualities which make Krishna close to Arjuna for him to tell Bhagavad Gita? 2 qualities are spoken in the 2nd chapter and 1 in the 9th chapter. Which are the qualities? Totally 3.
His friend and devotee.
Friend and
Devotee.
very nice. 2nd chapter says devotee and friend. So what's one more quality which is coming up in the 9th chapter?
Non-envious.
Hari bol, anisuyave, non-envious. I've got stalwarts in the class. Thank you so much. I'm so impressed. Yeah, so that's the thing. So that's the quality. And we see the demonic quality opposite to that is Shishupal, right? So he's so envious. And gradually they will go into abominable existence. Trividyam Narakashrayam. So basically, Trividyam Narakashrayam means what? 3 doors to things. So please, let's not do all that. Why should we go to the 3 hell? And if we don't have, we go to the spiritual destination. And whoever does not follow Shastra, obviously is neither happy nor goes to the destination. And whoever knows his duty, right, and what is not duty by the regulation or scriptures, he will not follow. But whatever is his duty, he will follow, and therefore slowly he will get elevated, right? So that is what Krishna says. And with this, we will conclude the 16th chapter. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Koti Vaishnav Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Namacharya Haridas Thakur Jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Krishna. Now, I'm going to ask you all, before I start the story, any doubts so that we will shift our mood completely.
Mataji, what is the difference between lust and greed?
Okay, very beautiful question. So greed is, I want, very similar. I will give you an example you can understand. What is the difference between Ravana and Hiranyakashipu? That is the difference. Hiranyakashipu, where your greed is largely about things and ownership. Right? So he is very greedy that he wants to take control of the situation, including like sun, moon, rain. He wants rain to come. He wants heat to be fair things. So that becomes your greed. I want everything. Very thin difference. Lust is something, that's why I gave the example of Ravana. This, I want to have control over people even when it belongs to somebody else. Somebody's wife, I don't care. I'm very lusty. I want it. Right? Greed is, I want more of it. I have something, but I need more of it. Lust is, I like something which you have, and I want to make sure that I have that by snatching it from you. Did I make that clear, Prabhu?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Is there any other doubts? Else, let's dive. Sorry? Sorry? I can't
Yes,
hear.
Mataji, let's dive.
Done? So we are going to the story. I'm muting all. So, Hare Krishna. For a change, usually this is a story I tell at level 2 classes, but let me just start off with this story, because today we saw about honesty, truthfulness in any situation. So I would like to tell you the story of Arjuna and Subhadra, and we'll see how honest they were and how things went in, right? So to start with, Arjuna was in, this is all before the war, before Mahabharatam and all that. So after he married Draupadi, each brother had an understanding, right? So when a brother, that is Yudhishthira, was with Draupadi, they would not enter the main hall. The main hall means their main room, because there were weapons which were kept there. Not because of that, but they had an understanding that when, and if they, by chance, if any brother enters during the time when one brother is with his wife, with Draupadi, they will all be casted out, which means that he will have to go to the Vanaprastha ashram. That is, he will be in his forest, in the village or whatever. He should be away for about a year. So what happens? Brahmana comes and says that, his cows are distressed and they are in trouble, and therefore Arjuna will have no choice but to go and take a weapon. Even though he did not see left, right, he just went and, took his Gandharva bow. Still, he had to be casted. However, what happened is, Yudhishthira was very sweet. Everybody said that nobody, in fact, Yudhishthira said, I am the one who has to accuse. I am not telling you to go. Therefore, you stay back. So did Draupadi, everyone. But he said rules have to be followed, right? So you are making a mistake, you will live with that mistake. So he says that I have done it, so I'm going for a year. So as he is traveling, and a typical sannyasi kind of a concept he will get over 1 year. And over the last few months, he obviously before returning, Arjuna's heart always goes for Krishna. So, hope one day our heart also goes there. So therefore what happens, he also goes and meets Krishna to just tell bye, right? This is the last few months before he resumes back to the kingdom. And when he goes there, he is very upset and he comes to know that Subhadra is technically engaged to Shishupal and she's going to marry Shishupal. Sorry, not Shishupal. Where did I go wrong? Duryodhana, right? So Shishupal is the story of Rukmini and Krishna. So that is when Shishupal was involved. In this case, Duryodhana. Why? Because Duryodhana was a student of Balram, and obviously this was proposed by Duryodhana and Balram agreed. And the story now turns back to the fact that Arjuna's childhood love has been Subhadra, and so was Subhadra. So how did they have Shravanam, hearing, right? Why do we call hearing is so powerful? Because all the time we keep hearing, and it's super powerful. Because this is the sourced sound vibration. So if you go back to sound vibration, all of us would have taken one major decision or any decisions based on the sound, right? Sound has such a major impact in our lives, so much of impact. And coming back and forth to something, what was happening is, this, it is just that both of them, more than spending time with each other, they've only heard about each other. Arjuna has actually heard so much about Subhadra because Subhadra's friend and Arjuna's friends were actually classmates. So there was a link. So I'm not getting too much into that story, but they knew and he was hearing throughout. And so did Subhadra here. Because Arjuna, I think everybody spoke about Arjuna, right? So we don't have to find out where she got the news from. And this is what happened. So Krishna asks Arjuna, what is it he's upset about? So can you imagine, like, even though Subhadra was the sister of Krishna, Arjuna is very vocal and he says that he tells him tells the truth. He says, Subhadra was his childhood love and, this is what has happened. It's not that Krishna didn't know, but he knew. And in fact, he was waiting for Arjuna to tell. So he says, okay, fine. So don't come here, just leave. Arjuna is confused. Leave. He says, leave for another 1 month and come back, with long beard and you lose your identity and come back after some time. So he comes and he says, I want you to enter the palace. And he says, what? He says, just as you are, because his identity was totally masked and Balram could not recognize. This is also a Leela of Krishna because Balram is Krishna's expansion. So this is a Leela of Krishna so that Balram himself is illusion. Doesn't mean he's in Maya, but this was Yoga Maya where gods get covered, right? So these pastimes are all coming under Yoga Maya. So what is happening is Arjuna is entering and Balram thinks he's a Brahmana and he invites him. He invites him, makes him sit, and he is calling Subhadra. So before all this, I want to go back to a little bit to a flashback. So what happens is there are so many palaces, but Subhadra lives with Balram. Why? Because those days, it's normally the father who takes care of the sister or the eldest brother is responsible. Balram used to love Subhadra, so did Krishna. And so he personally was taking care. So why particularly Balram? Because Balram was supposed to be all powerful, both physically as well as emotionally. It's just not the physical strength, but Balram always had this Vatsalya Bhav also, which means he took the parental role. So even with Krishna, all the 5 rasas he will be taking care of. That is Shantaras, Sakyaras, which is a friend, and before that, Shantaras, Dasyaras as a servitor, Sankyaras as a friend, and the Vatsalyaras as a parent, and Madhuryaras as conjugal relationship. So he had served Krishna in all. So here, the Vatsalyaras, with that feeling, he is keeping Subhadra personal care. But he calls her because, he wants his sister to get those rosy points of serving the, the Brahmana. And he definitely wants the Brahmin, the girl to get some credits before her marriage. So he calls her and tells, please take care of him. Like wash his foot and, give him food or whatever. So this is all about it. So therefore, he comes there and she takes care of him. But as she is watching him, she's a very chaste girl. what do you mean by chaste? Is somebody who's extremely good in character, right? Non-compromisable. So she was getting a little disturbed seeing him, even though she did not recognize him. She was like continuously, sort of trying to grab attention. She was not losing focus, but she was like terribly disturbed, right? So first time she thought, okay, something is bothering. And then second time when she saw him as well, she was like completely disturbed. She was like, what is happening? How could, why is this happening to me? She just could not find ways. She could not get a solution. She did not even understand why this was happening because, as I said, she never knew that this was Arjuna. So this story was going on for some time. And Arjuna, in the name of a sannyasi, was actually frequently visiting the palace and relishing the nectar of getting served by Subhadra. Now he goes back to Krishna and reports to Krishna, telling that, I am, really fond of your daughter, your sister. So, what should I do? So Krishna tells, do one thing, in Kshatriya kingdom, it's not uncommon and it's not a crime either. You can just take the girl and leave, right? You can you can just technically kidnap, okay? And no questions asked. And he says, he is so blank. Okay. And obviously Krishna knows Subhadra likes Arjuna, but he doesn't tell any of these details. So he just puts that at rest. So he is like, okay, what should I do? What should I do? Kind of a thing. And then he tells one thing. He said, I will again go, but I need to have some indication that she likes me, because I do not want to go and forcibly take her because I love her. So now this shows an exalted quality of, even though being a Kshatriya, he was so nice that he did not want to trust his force, right? He really wanted to understand which is the actual love, right? Today, I think we've gone to extreme despair for two reasons. Either we feel that love as a concept has become so dilute that it's like love with benefits, right? You have something, I have something, I do something, you do something. Or the other side of love is also, what is it? It's a very vague kind of a story, right? Wherein you don't tell, yes, I'm going to throw acid on your face. This is an extreme. But both are more opportunistic or more with benefits. So I'm talking about I'm just highlighting here because it's not about, it's more of, don't compare my love is great or your love is great. This is more about spiritually how they had this feeling, and how materially we are all into, opportunity, right? So that's where we are stuck. So what is happening now is, and also meanwhile, he tries to give information to Yudhishthira Maharaj that Krishna is telling. Yudhishthira Maharaj, no questions asked. He says, fine. He doesn't even have one iota of doubt, and he's totally fine. Like, okay, if you want, if Krishna says yes, because he knows very clearly if Krishna says, there will be a lot of reason. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, the moment he gets to know this, he doesn't have even one qualm or doubt about whether Subhadra will like, whether she'll be comfortable, because he knows that if Krishna says, it's blind faith, right? Now he goes, meanwhile, Krishna calls for Subhadra, and Subhadra also comes. She meets Krishna, and she's very upset. And Krishna asks, why are you upset? What's really bothering you? I feel you're very heavy. She says there are two things which are bothering. She's very honest. Now, this is called honesty, truthfulness. We just read, right? What is truthfulness? This truthfulness is, how can you be honest, right? This is not current generation. This is not a generation where you look at your mama and papa and tell, I like this guy, I brought this guy. That's not on. So difficult it would be in those days to even tell, this kind of a thing to someone. And telling to a brother, it's not like a brother. And this is like, these are totally a very advanced relationships, because the brother takes the role of the father, right? So going and opening up with Krishna is also not going to be easy for her. And she is so honest, and she tells, I'm finding it very, very difficult. What is the difficulty? Now he is telling that the main difficulty is just two things. She says two things. First thing is, I don't like Duryodhan. I don't want to marry Duryodhan. One. And second thing, she says, so Krishna asks, okay, then tell me who's in your mind. She says, Arjuna. She was so honest. She says, Arjuna. Okay. He says, okay, so why don't you go and tell Balram? She says, no, she's not able to tell. So she conveys this to Krishna and tells that you have to help me. She says, okay, I will help you go. Then she says that, okay, and she's still hesitant. So Krishna says, okay, now what next? She says, no, see, the first one needs a lot of, strength to tell. And the second one, I don't know what you need. Because just imagine she's going to tell to the brother that I'm getting disturbed by a guru or a saint who's coming. We all know it is Arjuna. So we have a different way of looking at it. And just imagine a girl who is very young has to admit to a brother after she's engaged to a guy that I love another guy and yet I'm getting disturbed with another guy, which is a very hard feeling, right? And she goes ahead and tells her brother that I am distressed after the sannyasi came. And the very look of sannyasi, sort of disturbs me completely. So Krishna now, does not want to reveal directly that this is Arjuna. But so he starts probing and he asks, so what's disturbing you? She says, I don't know, but the one person whom my heart will go for will be only Arjuna, right? But somewhere when I see him, the body, see, whatever said and done, there is a difference between the body of a Brahmana and a Kshatriya. And he was a hardcore Kshatriya, right? So you know how his body was made. And she said that I could not take the way he sees. Obviously, Arjuna had a lot of love, right? Though she could not explain in words. She was telling the way she sees, the way. I always had a feeling that this person was close to my heart. And my heart would go only to, and she stops for a second. And she immediately gets that feeling that, is that by any chance Arjuna? She immediately, gives that expression and Krishna smiles and she says, it's Arjuna. It has to be Arjuna because there is nobody in this world my heart can by default get disturbed except for someone whom you have been thinking so deeply, loving so much from a long time. So it's just not like she saw for 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 7 months, or 1 year, right? You must be having this very, very strong feeling about the person for a very long time, right? Otherwise, you can't just look, not like a love at first sight, how it appears here, to really fall off the chair, right? So this is what was happening for her. And the guts she had to reveal, the guts she had to tell, and look at the solution Krishna is offering, right? Just by talking to Krishna, the entire truth, he has not opened his mouth, he has not communicated. And today we keep thinking Arjuna had Krishna on the right, Subhadra had Krishna on the left. True, but both of them, if you see, Krishna has not really spoken. He has actually given them the feeling, right? So we have in 15.15, we just, read, you all would have heard yesterday. Sarvasya chaham hidi sanni visto matta smriti jnanam apohanam sa vedeshu sarveshu abhameva vedyo vedanta krit veda vidheva chaham. That means I am the one who's giving you the memory, intelligence, and forgetfulness. So he automatically, as Paramatma, gives all this. So this is what happens. And now he's set the floor, right? Arjuna is going to check for the last time. He tells him, I'm going and putting my foot for the last time to check if she likes me. Otherwise, I'm going to take a walk. And she tells that I am going to really check. Either it happens or I'm going to take a walk. So both of them have just one last chance. And as Arjuna goes there and as she goes now, she's completely prepared. This is Arjuna. And Arjuna obviously does not know. So he's sort of blinking and he's just looking forward. And the moment she saw Arjuna and the little smile came, Arjuna picked, okay, she likes me, right? And immediately he decides what to do, but he obviously can't act. Imagine it's Balram's palace. And he goes back to Krishna and says that I definitely, I will take her. So Krishna says, okay. So the chariot of Krishna technically is not used by anyone. It can be touched only by 2 more besides him. One is Uddhava, who happens to be his cousin, who looks exactly like Krishna. And another one is Arjuna. Obviously, Balram can, but normally Balram, being in the same kingdom, will not access that. So what happens is, Krishna is telling, Arjuna, that this is a very beautiful story. And what I should do is I'm going to give you a draft plan of how you can go about. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Recording.
I have a doubt. Should I complete the story or should I keep the part 2 for tomorrow? Is it too long?
Please complete the story, Mataji. It's very interesting.
Interesting. Because being so silent, I just got worried that you're getting bored and am I dragging it too much?
No, Mataji.
Go ahead.
Please continue. please.
Sure. Sure. Hare Krishna. So back to the thing that now the plot has to happen, right? So Krishna is telling Arjuna, listen, you don't have too many times, you don't have too many choices. All you need to do is that you will be go to the temple. She will be going to the temple and she will be with the girls tomorrow morning, right? That is basically the wedding is coming through, and obviously, they will go just like how it happened to Rukmini. She'll be going. The difference is, in case of Rukmini, Krishna was the Lord and he was fighting with normal people, right? Powerful people. In Arjuna's case, it's very different. Even though Arjuna is powerful, entire city is who are the demigods. So if you see the whole of Dwaraka, Krishna, when he had come, he had brought in the entire Vasis, right? So Krishna's son Pradyumna happens to be, the Cupid, right? The Kamadev. His the second son happens to be, Samba, right? Happens to be Kartikeya. So imagine he is having demigods to fight with. Arjuna, though maybe a son of a demigod, he has to have, it's no match. Arjuna is one and he is just going to have a battle against the demigod. So Krishna is telling the only thing you can do is you do not have time to stop the, not bike I'm killing, the horses. The horses will go at a certain speed. You will have no time to talk, no movie time. It's like not close up, you don't have time to explain, no John, no love story, you just have to keep riding your horse and your carriage at a great speed, cannot pause. You just have to ride through them and pick the girl and go. If you pause, then there is no way, and you will stop it straight there, your kingdom. There is no U-turn and all that. You just have to proceed. First, you have to get out of the kingdom. So Arjuna, we know how Arjuna follows the orders of Krishna, and he so religiously agrees. Obviously, for a war, if he had agreed, for his love story, won't he agree? So he agrees and he sets off with the horses, while there are lots of preparation happening for the wedding by Balram and the entire team for the next thing to hit. So what is happening now is the actual conclusion, and I know all of you know the end, but still I'm trying to keep it as into as possible. Now Arjuna is riding his chariot. We know this game, the polo, where, they are in the horse and do, but of course he's riding the chariot in one hand and he sees her at a distance, and the horse is racing at so much speed, and he's an excellent charioteer, right? He's so excellent because if he goes past, he can actually possibly crush a lot of people around her. And at that great speed, he goes in an angle and he just bends and picks her up, right? Same speed, he does not even slow down. So we will see a lot of heroic movie depicted from this scene, where we are talking about how beautiful this scene is, and one of the best movies I've heard, seen, and the greatest of love story I've always experienced and felt is this story, wherein he at that speed picks her up, and the moment when there is this horse coming at a distance, obviously she could not recognize, because it was obviously for everybody, they were silent because it was Krishna's horse, right? So they were wondering, why is it coming? So they did not feel the fear, they were not scared, because it was obviously Krishna's horses. So it just came in that particular speed. So obviously they thought, okay, so it's okay, it's brother's horse only, maybe he wants to come. But as he was coming closer and closer, that is when he found that there is a agenda too, right? He's just going to pick her, and before they could even understand what was happening, he had crossed the borders of that particular kingdom. That was the speed of Arjuna, of the horses, and that was the power of Krishna. Did the story end? No, right? So the moment the news went to Balram was like all over telling who could it be? Not how, because he did not know, and he could not even digest the fact. And in a moment, he just noticed that Krishna was very calm, because Krishna would be somebody who will be reacting if something has happened to the sister. That doesn't seem to be happening. Story one. Now there's a second story to this, a little more complex story, is he was even more confused as to how did anyone touch the horse of Krishna. It is not easy to, for that matter, for all of us, it is just not easy to ride somebody's horse, right? So now he has to come and pick up the horse of Krishna. It's just not possible. It's not like theft or anything. First of all, the horses won't listen and the chariot wouldn't move. And it's not like our car keys, oh, I will steal the car and I will fly. These are animals who respond only to, a lot of love. So this was like so much of tension, and he immediately gets a feel this has to be Arjuna. And he is so angry, and he is like all out, and he literally is up for a fight. And Krishna knows if Balram gets into the war, it's a real lose-lose battle. It's very difficult. So immediately Krishna falls on the feet and holds him, and he's just not letting him go, and with so much of love, care, and literally hugs him. It's like he hugs him with so much love and compassion and power. And Balram says, what's happening? And he says that he narrates the story. So Balram says that he was just wondering why. He could have told, right? Subhadra could have told, Arjuna could have told, because Arjuna was a cousin of Balram, right? And many times we have a feeling Krishna is close to Arjuna, therefore Balram does not like Arjuna, which is not true. Arjuna likes, Balram loves Arjuna. So he was just wondering, and Krishna gives a reason. He says that you had already promised Duryodhana. And if you go back on the promise, which you will, if you get to know that Subhadra is in love with Arjuna, you will be a person at fault where you have not, honored the promise, right? Which I don't want, because Balram is the Lord in the devotee form. He's the highest. Krishna will not allow any of his devotees fail in the promise. How would he even tolerate his own brother Balram, who will be defaulting or not keeping up his word? So he is like, that's the reason. The whole thing was plotted against, against the entire thing was not a plot against Balram, but the whole thing was depicted to just protect the word of Balram. Now you'll be thinking, anyway, he got kidnapped, but that's a different story, because as per Kshatriyas, they can actually go and bring the girl of their choice. So that is there as per their Kshatriya Dharma. So right now, Balram will not be blamed. It will only be this. So he goes there. And then after going there, Yudhishthira respects them, calls them in, and he says that the marriage will be done in the presence of Balram. So obviously, that's a respect Yudhishthira gives to Krishna and Balram. And Balram immediately calls them. Unlike today's movies, it's not like I'm going to call and plot, nothing of that sort. They all go there, and they all, and in the supervision of Balram and Krishna, they both get married and they are happy, and they walk back to the kingdom of Yudhishthira. So this is the greatest love story of the Dwapara Yuga. And today we are in Kali Yuga, which we have heard different types of love stories, different things. And with this note, I leave, because this was one favorite, and this is probably the only favorite love story which I have ever loved. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna to everybody, and Dandavat Pranam. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
You have to tell me, is it outdated?
Not at all outdated. Any day valid.
Latest,
Not at all outdated, Mataji.
Latest movie.
Latest. So this is someone who, this is what is spiritual, right? This is a classroom with mixed crowd. Everybody likes, irrespective of age, irrespective of yuga. There are different yuga. There's a different yuga. We loved it. Arjuna is there. Krishna is there. We loved the story. We loved how it is. In fact, I had a picture. While I was taking you, I should have gone ahead and checked earlier, but I'm not able to find the presentation. It had a very cute look of both Arjuna and Subhadra trying to see each other with a glance when he is dressed like a sannyasi. But if I get the PPT slide which we have made, I'll share that. I will not share, but I will show it to you in the class tomorrow.
Mataji, you should try to become a director. You're so nice in narrating story. Your expressions.
It's not direction of story, it's a real story, Babu. Hare Krishna. So, but the point here is this will love everybody. This really takes off everyone, right? Irrespective of our age, there will be a lot of people who believers of love, madcore lovers, non-believers of love like me. All of us love the story, right? So there is the difference between spirituality and material. So material, like, okay, I want it. You have some benefit, I have some benefit. Your benefit matches, my benefit matches. I'm in love with you, I marry you, you marry me. You're rich, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're good looking. Okay, thanks. But here, it's far beyond what we can talk, right? Hare Krishna, thank you so much. But I'm glad you enjoyed. This is not about offending anyone who are in love, but it's just to tell that there is a lot of difference between that and this. There are some questions in the chat. Let me take them. Who is Sankarshana Mataji? Sankarshana is Balram. Who is Sudama? Sudama is the friend of Krishna. He is also called, I'm not getting his name. Kusela. Thank you so much, Mami. Kushela is the other name. I think it's so much known in the south. Enjoyed, Mataji. Thank you so much. Story is nice, right? Yeah. So Sudama is the friend of Krishna. And most of you all will know the story where he is a very poor Brahmana and he would come back to the kingdom after Krishna became a king of the Dwaraka, and he would come there and he will bring the puffed rice. Sudama is what I was talking about. Sudanva. In which context? Did I bring up Sudanva? I was talking about Sudama. Why is this Sudanva coming from? I don't know. Did I sound like that? You can unmute and ask.
Sudama Mataji.
Sudama only, no? Because I did. Sudama is the one I'm talking about. He was also called. Yeah, so he's the one.
Hello, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Who is Sudanva?
Sudanva. Why is Sudanva in the picture? I don't remember speaking about Sudanva. We're talking about Sudama. Hare Krishna. But where is Sudanva coming from?
I have listened once that name. I have asked what is that?
No, Sudama. We were talking about Sudama.
Okay.
Sure. So any other doubts?
Thank
There
you,
are no other
Mataji.
doubts? No other doubts? I'm going to be back tomorrow again. Tomorrow is a slightly lengthy chapter, so I may not have time for a long story, but I'll try and see if I can give in a small story. Hare Krishna. But I need your help. I want you all to immediately start. Like today, you all were very beautifully coordinating towards the end. I want that coordination from the beginning so that we can finish fast, and we'll have some time for story. Yeah. So if you'll give me.
Mataji, who is Sudanva, Mataji?
There is, why did this name come?
I don't know. Because
he got mixed up with Sudama as Sudanva. So you can just ignore the question in the chat.
Okay. Sure.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So we'll meet again tomorrow, same time. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.